It's always darkest before dawn. For centuries, the temples of Angkor have stood witness to this eternal struggle. Light wrestling with darkness, good battling evil, carved in stone on ancient temple walls. And here in Siem Reap, in these hushed moments before sunrise, that same battle plays out every single morning. Welcome back to Remarkable. Today we're catching the exact moment when night surrenders today, when the shadows that cloak this city finally retreat, revealing a truth that most travelers never witness. Just as the demons and deities of Angkorian reliefs wage their endless war, we'll watch light triumph over darkness in the streets of modern Siem Reap. The water festival just ended. 3 days of celebrating light, of thousands of candles on water pushing back the darkness. But now, in these quietest hours, we'll find our own light. In the flickering flames of food carts at Sarchas, in the first electric bulbs warming up Kandal village's cafes, in the golden morning rays that will soon pierce the mist over the royal gardens. This is more than just another morning in Cambodia. Like the ancient stories carved in the temples, it's a daily renaissance. The moment when shadow gives way to light, when the hidden becomes revealed, when Siem Reap shows its truest face. So forget your alarm clock. We're starting this journey in darkness, where every authentic story begins. And if you're new here, subscribe to join our community of travelers who know that to find light, you must first be willing to embrace the dark. The night is about to lose its battle with dawn. Let's begin. As the first light breaks over Siem Reap, Pub Street is almost unrecognizable from its nightly chaos. The silence is broken only by the soft sweeping of shopkeepers cleaning their storefronts and the distant chants from nearby pagodas. Where just hours ago tourists danced and partied, now local women in kramas balance towers of fresh produce on motorbikes, heading to their market stalls. Here at Sarchas, or Old Market, the real show is beginning. Steam rises from giant pots of babor, the Khmer rice porridge that fuels the city's workers. Elderly women crouch over baskets of fresh herbs, sorting the morning's delivery of sawtooth coriander and holy basil. The fish sellers are already deep in negotiations, their silver tray kandoeng still wriggling in shallow metal pans. The narrow aisles are a sensory maze, fresh coconut being scraped, the sharp scent of prahok fish paste, and mountains of bright red chilies that could tell 1,000 stories. This isn't the sanitized tourist experience. This is the lifeblood of Siem Reap, the ancient market that has fed this city for generations. Watch your step. Those puddles on the ground might be from the ice keeping the morning's fish fresh, or from the market's ancient floor being washed down. But that's what makes this place real. This is the Cambodia that exists before the tour buses arrive, before the temples fill up, before the city puts on its tourist-friendly face.
You say you don't need me, but I'm the only one you call whenever you're lost. You say you got somewhere to be, but you've been here since yesterday with your phone turned off. Mine's doing all the talking, but have you asked your heart? Sounds like a good place to start. Your feelings seem to be left in the dark. Defeated, quiet screaming, what if you ask your heart? Sounds like a good place to start. Sounds like a good place to start. Your feelings seem to be left in the dark. Defeated, quiet screaming, what if you ask your heart? Sounds like a good place to start. Ooh, your heart. Ooh.
tus ojos y piernas yo iba a ser en aquel
por la calle, aunque no tenga motivos, la espero siempre aquí conmigo. Con miedos nuevos e inseguridad, pero es parte de crecer. Siempre alegre y muy buen amigo, lástima que eso genera enemigos. Y mientras el reloj corra, aquí de pie yo sigo. Aquí de pie yo sigo. Aquí de pie yo sigo. Oh, oh, sigo.
The morning light is hitting differently here in Candal Village, where French colonial architecture meets contemporary Khmer design. This is Siem Reap's creative district, but at this hour, it's just waking up. The smell of fresh-baked croissants from Bayonne Pastry School mixes with the aroma of locally roasted coffee being prepared at Little Red Fox. The artsy cafes and boutiques might be trendy now, but these old Chinese shop houses tell a different story. Their weathered yellow walls and wooden shutters have witnessed decades of change. Watch as the first baristas arrive on their motorcycles, unlocking the vintage doors of Sister Shrey Cafe. Inside, they're setting up for another day of serving some of the town's best flat whites to a mix of expats, digital nomads, and in-the-know travelers. A local artist is already at work in one of the galleries. The early morning light perfect for painting. The boutique owners are arranging their displays of contemporary Khmer design clothing and hand-woven textiles. This isn't your typical tourist trap. It's where Siem Reap's creative soul comes alive, where tradition meets modern Cambodia. The narrow streets are still peaceful, with just a few early morning yoga enthusiasts heading to their classes. In a few hours, this area will buzz with life. But right now, we get to see Kandal Village in its most authentic state, a neighborhood in transition, bridging Cambodia's past and future. As we make our way towards the royal gardens, a rare sight unfolds on one of Siem Reap's quiet streets. A motorcade of the Royal Gendarmerie of Cambodia, gliding past in perfect formation. The sound of their engines echoes softly, a stark contrast to the peaceful morning stillness. Their dark uniforms and polished motorcycles exude discipline and authority, a reminder of the city's balance between order and tradition. On the adjacent pavement, a lone monk in vibrant saffron robes walks with quiet purpose, embodying Cambodia's timeless spiritual essence. The juxtaposition is striking. The modern motorcade, a symbol of Cambodia's evolving governance, alongside the monk, a living link to the nation's ancient Buddhist roots. The street itself feels alive yet calm, with freshly swept sidewalks and dappled sunlight filtering through the trees. It's a scene you'd easily miss in the hustle of mid-morning. But at dawn, these quiet moments tell their own stories of a city that's both modernizing and deeply connected to its heritage. Let's continue to see what's unfolding along the riverside, just as Siem Reap wakes up. The giant fruit bats of the royal gardens are putting on their morning show, stretching their leather wings against the growing light. These dark sentinels, some with wingspans wider than a man's outstretched arms, have been keeping watch over these colonial paths since long before tourism found Siem Reap. Like living gargoyles, they hang from the century-old trees, arguing with the dawn in high-pitched squeaks. Below them, runners circle the gardens in their morning ritual, their shoes softly padding on paths still damp from night. The contrast is almost poetic, modern athleticism flowing beneath these ancient creatures. A group in matching Siem Reap runners shirts, training for next month's Angkor Wat International Half Marathon, pause to stretch near the giant chess sets, pointing up at the spectacle above. The bats are restless now, sensing it's time to retreat to darker spaces. They've watched another night fade, seen the last revelers stumble home from the water festival, witnessed the first monks emerge from nearby Wat Phra Prom Rath. A few take flight, their massive shadows sweeping across the grounds like echoes of the temple dragons carved in stone nearby. Each departure is a surrender to the light, a changing of nature's guard. Watch how the local runners don't even look up anymore. This daily drama is just part of their morning soundtrack. But the few tourists out this early stop and stare, phones pointed skyward, capturing this moment where Siem Reap's darkness literally takes flight. Just as the ancient Khmer knew, even the creatures of the night must eventually bow to the coming day. royal gardens are especially serene this morning, still recovering from the festivities of Touk, Cambodia's water festival that just wrapped up yesterday. The groundskeepers are quietly clearing the last traces of celebrations that brought thousands to these streets. It's amazing to think that just 24 hours ago, this entire area was packed with families watching the boat races on the Siem Reap River. Walking past the elephant statues and manicured lawns of Independence Gardens, there's a different energy in the air. You can feel the shift as Cambodia moves from festival season toward the peak tourist season. With the recent announcement of new direct flights from Singapore starting next month, December 2024, these gardens will soon be bustling with even more visitors as airlines such as AirAsia continue to increase routes and frequencies to the region. The giant chess sets near the royal residence are empty now, but just last week they were surrounded by locals and tourists alike, all caught up in the festive spirit. The morning mist is still clinging to the canopy of century-old trees, many of which were planted during King Sihanouk's reign. Look over there. Monks in saffron robes are making their morning alms rounds, a timeless tradition that continues regardless of festivals or tourist seasons. With the recent restoration project of the gardens completed just 2 months ago, the new pathways and lighting make this morning walk even more pleasant. This space feels especially poignant now as Siem Reap continues its ambitious urban transformation plan. While much of the city has been modernized over the past year, these gardens remain a constant, though the new eco-friendly solar lighting systems installed last month add a subtle modern touch to this historic space. The early morning aerobics group is setting up near the Independence Monument, a daily ritual that's become even more popular since the post-pandemic tourism revival. You can hear their upbeat music mixing with the distant chants from Wat Phra Prom Rath Temple, creating that unique soundtrack that is distinctly Siem Reap. The newly renovated Pokambor Avenue along the Siem Reap River is coming alive as the sun climbs higher, still glistening from last night's light rain. It's hard to believe that just 2 days ago, during Touk, these walkways were packed with festival goers watching illuminated boats glide down the river. Now the morning calm has returned, though some festival decorations still flutter in the breeze. The $150 million urban renovation project that transformed this riverfront in late 2023 has really paid off. What used to be a cramped street is now a wide pedestrian promenade lined with young trees and modern lighting. Local photographers are already setting up their equipment, catching that golden morning light reflecting off the river. They're probably documenting the post-festival scene for the upcoming Siem Reap Arts Festival in December 2024. You can spot the morning regulars, elderly couples doing their daily walks, young professionals grabbing coffee from the riverside cafes, and fishermen checking their nets in the calmer sections of the river. The water level is particularly high right now, typical for late November, creating perfect reflections of the colonial-style buildings along the bank. The fresh morning air carries the scent of incense from nearby Preah Ang Chek Preah Ang Chorm Shrine, where locals are making their morning prayers. With tourist numbers finally exceeding pre-pandemic levels this quarter, and the new direct flights from Bangkok's Don Mueang Airport starting next month, this peaceful morning scene might become increasingly rare. Look at those construction barriers near the bridge. They're preparing for the next phase of the Riverside Development Project, set to begin in early 2025. It's fascinating to watch this city evolve while still maintaining its soul. The Riverside has always been Siem Reap's lifeline, from the ancient Angkorian times to today's modern city, and these morning moments show exactly why it remains the heart of local life. Watch your step here. The morning market vendors are just starting to set up their small stalls along the promenade, a new initiative by the city to promote local street food culture while keeping the riverside organized and clean. The aroma of fresh nung ham, Cambodian baguette sandwiches, and coffee is starting to fill the air. the morning light finally claims its victory over darkness, we end our journey at Soria, an unexpected slice of the West that's become a morning ritual for Siem Reap's expatriate community. After watching the city emerge from shadow, there's something perfectly fitting about this cultural crossroads where East meets West. If you're wondering why I chose Soria over the trendy cafes downtown, this is where you'll find the city's long-term foreign residents starting their day, the teachers, NGO workers, and business owners who've made Siem Reap their home. The aroma of fresh brewed Western coffee mingles with the tropical morning air, while plates of eggs, Benedict, and French toast share table space with the International Herald Tribune and dog-eared novels. Look around. You've got English teachers planning their lessons, digital nomads opening their laptops, and veteran expats discussing the latest local developments over perfectly poached eggs. That's what I love about this place. It's where those who've chosen to call Siem Reap home come to greet the day, no matter how many tourist cafes pop up or how many new hotels open their doors. Speaking of which, with Siem Reap's tourism numbers finally rebounding beyond pre-pandemic levels and major infrastructure projects reshaping the city, quiet morning spots like this feel even more precious. Soria reminds us that beyond the tourist trails and temple tours, there's a whole other layer to the city, the story of those who came for a visit and stayed for a lifetime. And as the morning light finally claims its victory over darkness, we end our journey at Soria, an unexpected slice of the West that's become a morning ritual for Siem Reap's expatriate. If you enjoyed this glimpse into real morning life in Cambodia, don't forget to hit subscribe. We've got some exciting episodes coming up. Thanks for walking with me this morning. Until next time, stay curious, stay authentic, and I'll see you in the next episode of Remarkable.